My name is Cheng Hong. My book case study analysis is about Southern Sea, the Great Hurricane of 1938. It is written by R.A. Scotty. She lives in New York City. She is a former journalist and the author of numerous thrillers and novels of international espionage. The 1938 hurricane is the most destructive natural disaster in U.S. history, worse than the San Francisco earthquake, the Chicago fire, or any Mississippi flood. It was the only Category 5 hurricane to hit the mainland of the United States. This storm raced up the Atlantic coast, reaching New York and New England ahead of hurricane warnings. This hurricane was estimated to have killed between 682 and 800 people, damaged or destroyed over 57,000 homes, and caused property losses estimated at $306 million. It is about $4.7 billion in 2013. It is this storm that made people start checking the weather before they leave the house in the morning. Massively high tides and surges of water obliterated entire beach communities, sweeping houses, cars, and inhabitants away and leaving an empty beach behind. Winds clocked at 186 miles per hour stripped cars of their paint. Walls of water 50 feet high swept homes and entire families out to sea. However, when the hurricane swept into New England on September 21, 1938, there was no warning, no idea that the winds were anything more than a normal nor'easter common in the fall and winter. This slide is about author's perspective. Scotty was former journalist and mystery novelist. She successfully applies her skills in both genres to this disaster. Scotty focuses on a few experiences that seem representative of many more through interviews with hurricane survivors, their families and friends, such as those of Joseph Meadows, who sees his children swept away from their school bus as they are battered by huge waves. Lillian Tetlow and Jack Kinney, two sweethearts who survive a storm that destroys Napa Tree. Charles Pierce, a green and unsure junior forecaster for an underprepared U.S. Weather Bureau, who stands against his experienced superiors as the only forecaster to recognize the danger of the hurricane. Scotty's detailed look at the general extent of the hurricane's destruction adds poignancy to individual stories. She insists that we still cannot predict a hurricane more than 24 hours in advance. When it comes to emergency management, there are several problems. Most people would not have known the word hurricane or realized that powerful hurricanes had hit the New England coast before. People told each other that hurricanes didn't come to New England. The best forecast of the severity and its threat came from an ocean liner that was out to sea. The captain was registering the barometric low, even though he sent the messages. They went out on the telegraph in Morse code. By the time they were read by the weather service, the storm had picked up speed and it was too late. The storm knocked out the communication, so people couldn't call ahead and say, it's almost unbelievable to us today when we have the Weather Channel and satellites. 65 years ago, the Weather Bureau, like a weather CIA, consisted of two men in a small outpost in Jacksonville, Florida, drawing maps based almost entirely on reports radioed from ships at sea or from weather posts in the Caribbean islands. So the Weather Bureau didn't forecast it correctly. This book was written in 2003, so the author believed that the Great Hurricane of 1938, with our limited ability to predict the weather, could not possibly happen today. However, even today, meteorologists have only a partial understanding of weather phenomena like extreme hurricanes. We've gone to the moon and computerized the world, but we still don't know enough about the weather to predict the track of an extreme hurricane with any degree of accuracy until 24 hours before it hits. For example, Hurricane Katrina 2005 would turn out to prove her wrong. The last one is about Hurricane Emergency Management Plan. Two keys for Hurricane EMP are to prepare for the risks and to act on those preparations when alerted by emergency officials. First step is gather information. It starts from risk analysis. Online hazard and vulnerability assessment tools such as FEMA's map portal are available to gather information about your risk. Next step is plan and take action. Put together a basic disaster supplies kit and develop and document plans for your specific risk. And then follow guidelines to guard your community's health and protect the environment during and after the storm. If you need to leave your home, follow instructions issued by local officials. Leave immediately if ordered. Consider your protection options to decide whether to stay or evacuate your home if you are not ordered to evacuate. Last step is recover. We need to wait until an area is declared safe before returning home. Finally, we should remember that recovering from a disaster is usually a gradual process. Thank you so much.